Hi there, welcome to full council of Bletchley and Fenny Stratford Town Council this evening, Tuesday the 7th of July. Sorry about that, lots of good. I am Nathaniel Kelly Wilson. I am Mayor of Bletchley and Fenny Stratford, and I'll be chairing the meeting this evening. I would like to remind everybody that this meeting is being conducted in accordance with the Town Council standing orders and the relevant provisions of Local Government Act 1972. This meeting is held in front of the public rather than being a public meeting. Members of the public are welcome to observe proceedings and may participate during the public participation item on the agenda, provided that we have received a request by 12 midday on the day prior to the meeting. The time allocated for public participation will last no more than 15 minutes, and individuals will be able to speak for a maximum of 3 minutes. Requests to speak or ask questions will be dealt with in the order which they have been received. Our council has also signed up to the Civility and Respect Pledge. We therefore expect all participants to conduct their part in the meeting in a civil and respectful manner. We want everybody to be able to hear, so please respect whoever is speaking by not chatting amongst yourselves. I ask everyone present to respect the procedures of the meeting, that the council conduct its business properly. Please could you turn your mobile off or put it to silent. Also, in the interest of openness and transparency, we should be aware that the meeting is being recorded and our social media channels. Councillors, if you wish to speak this evening, please raise your hand. You will normally have the opportunity to speak once on each item for a period of up to 3 minutes. All points being made, whether by members of the public or councillors, are to be made through the chair. I will ask for the assistance of the Deputy Mayor to keep timing and Town Clerk to give me advice on standing orders if needed. Councillors are reminded to declare any disclosable pecuniary interests or other interests in relation to items on the agenda. If an interest arises during the meeting, please declare it at that time. Before we start, there are some housekeeping points to note. We are not expecting a fire drill, so if the fire alarm sounds, please leave as quickly as possible. You can leave by either end of the room, and the assembly point is at the other end of the car. For those members of the public present at the meeting in person or watching via our live stream, I will now ask the members of this council to introduce themselves, starting with Councillor Blackman.
Ray Blackman, Fenny Stratford.
Justin Cole, Member Multi Lease.
Ron Hine, Coinway, and Denby Knoll.
Ismail Hussain, Man South.
Richard Tucson, Eton South.
Peter Fernandez, Fenny Stratford.
Hamid Imran, Granby.
Richard Graham, Central Bletchley. Paul Johnson.
Ed Scott, Manor North and Eton Leeds.
Ed Hume, Eton South.
Marie Weimar, Lakes Estate, Eton North.
Terry Stevens, Manor South.
Smack Brown, Lakes Estate.
I'm O'Rourke, Fenny.
Okay, thank you. And I would also like the members of the officer team to introduce themselves as well.
John Fairclough, Town Clerk.
Louise Salmon, Deputy Clerk.
Okay. We do have some people who've asked to register to speak tonight. I have Councillor Steve Swain, who's a ward councillor for Milton Keynes City Council, and I've got Ray, who's a member of the public. Is anybody else wishing to speak this evening? No? Okay. So a reminder that will take part in the part of the meeting that is public participation, and you will not be able to speak on any other item in the meeting. Have we got any comments on items? No. Okay. So we will now go on to the meeting. So if I can ask for apologies for absence, sorry, if you can speak, we'll do that. Apologies for absence.
Yes, we've got apologies from councillor Ely and councillor Batamanu.
Okay, did you want to speak in relation?
Yeah, I would just like to brief full council that I've spoken to Keith Ely today in hospital. He's in hospital at the moment. He's got severe chest infection. It's very, very poorly. He's on the mend at the moment and he's been given some antibiotics, but he says his wishes, and I've given full council's best wishes for him for a speedy recovery. So that's the update on Keith.
Sure, that we just want to give everybody, want to give support to him as well. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is councillors' declarations of interest on the agenda. Does any councillor wish to make a declaration? No? Okay. Next item on the agenda is minutes of the previous meeting of council to approve the draft into the last meeting of council held on the 12th of May, which are items 5 to 10 in your pack. Are those minutes agreed?
One amendment, Chair. It's on page 3. Uche is missing off the steering group for the Sycamore Building steering group, so we can just add Uche as a million to it.
Okay.
That's okay.
Are those minutes agreed with that amendment? Yes?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, next item is item 4, public speaking. I will speak I'll take them in the order they were given to me. So the first person is Mr. Jones. Do you want to speak? Yeah. So you've got 3 minutes. If you want to stand up and speak to council, you don't have to stand up if you don't want to speak to council.
Right. Good evening, Chair, Clerk and councillors. Regarding the so-called new route layout of Queensway High Street, for residents, it appears little or no thought has been included about the streets off of Queensway. At present, with the works going on, this is a nightmare knowing the latest directions of how to negotiate getting through. Are the new road signage legal? Are they in operation? If yes, why are the majority being ignored? No, then they should be covered up until all changes have been completed. When the scheme is complete, Central Bletchley Queensway will be a one-way road entering from Albert Street and exiting at all other roads which are and will all be one way. Prior to these changes, vehicles could enter into the High Street from Albert Street as usual, Bedford Street and Brooklands Road. Now with Brooklands Road supposedly being a cul-de-sac, Queensway, anyone using transport from roads to the south side of Queensway will either have to travel along Fenny Way, then next road, Prince's Way, turning left into Albert Street, new traffic lights, in order to get back into the High Street. Or more probably do a wrap run and go into Torquay Way by the lower flats, use the back service road. Or alternatively, travel to Water Road, Duncan Street, Saxon Street, turning into Prince's Way, and then entering Albert Street at the new traffic lights. Anyone using transport to exit Bletchley from goes to the north side of Queensway, then go in the direction of Fenny, Stratford, or that direction, either have to use St Martin's Street, Cambridge Street, left at Corkwell, onto Prince's Way, do a U-turn where it's got a no U-turn sign, or use the back access road, turn into the High Street from Albert Street. As no one from either this Town Council, current or previous regeneration board members or Milton Keynes City Council thought of the implications involved with this scheme, which seems to have morphed since original consultations with local residents. I've spoken and emailed some of the town councils who agree with residents' concerns. Is it the case the councils have listened but chosen to ignore residents' views as is normal? Also, as a side issue, when is Milton Keynes, although it's not this council, although when is Milton Keynes City Council planning to fill in the various potholes within the parking area.
30 seconds.
Right, I'll finish.
30 seconds.
30 seconds. Right. Parking area on the right-hand side of Bedford Street. These have not been touched or repaired for over 20 years. Also, they're having to park on the right side, wrong way, checking approaching vehicles from there. It's now more of a hazard. Some drivers still go in both directions. Supposedly, the council are waiting for additional no right turns to be fitted. Thank you for this.
Thank you. Do any council members have any questions for the resident? I think we'll note your comments. We are not a highway authority, so it will be for us to converse with the highway authority. Have you got all the comments? Okay, and we'll have a conversation, and a member of the office team will come back to you with your staff to your.
Thank you. May I just make a quick comment in saying that when I was inquiring about the new traffic layout at Prince's Way, I phoned the highways department and they said they would get back to me in due course. I have never heard back. Okay. So you might have that enough.
We obviously, it's a separate council, the Highways Authority. We will engage. The City Council have dedicated officers that parishes and towns can speak to, and we will go through that route, and I'm sure that we will get a response. Okay. Thank you. Okay.
I go now.
So you're welcome to stay for the meeting, but if you want to go, you don't have to.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for this.
So the next, Councillor Steve Sweat from Milton Keynes City Council.
Chair, officers, councillors. A question on co-option. Can the council explain to residents or someone who has already had the opportunity to serve should be appointed ahead of a new applicant, unless they can demonstrate a clear record of achievement, commitment and capacity that is demonstrably stronger than the alternative? Should previous elected service give an applicant an advantage? Or should returning councillors be expected to meet a higher standard by demonstrating what they actually achieved during their previous term of office? What evidence does a council expect a former councillor to produce to demonstrate that they made a measurable difference during their previous time in office? And is the evidence considered as part of the co-option decision? NAC guidance encourages councils to consider the skills, commitment and qualities needed to strengthen the council. How does the council ensure that co-option provides opportunities for new people to enter local government, instead of repeatedly appointing former councillors? If a candidate has recently stood for election and was not elected by local residents, how does the council satisfy itself that appointing them through co-option reflects the spirit of local democracy, rather than simply returning a former councillor to office? Performance versus title. For candidate who have previously served as a town or city councillor, how does the council assess their actual record in office, such as attendance, achievement and contribution, rather than simply treating previous office as a qualification in itself?
Thank you. Do any members have any questions for the councillor? No. Okay. So I'll give kind of brief response. We have a set number of questions that we ask all potential co-optees, and I'm happy to kind of share what the questions are, but they're all related to the job description and person specification that we actually have for councillors. And so people are asked about, whether they've been a councillor before or what work that they've done in the community before. They are asked about what they know about the local community. They are asked about what issues they currently face. They are asked what experience they've got of working with local groups such as schools, residents associations or charities. They are asked what interests them about becoming a councillor. They are asked what council meetings about what different views that they've had and whether they can give an example where they have collaboratively made a decision. They are asked whether they are comfortable understanding written information and using numbers. They are asked whether they can describe a time where they've had to explain a decision or point of view that they disagreed with and how they would handle it. They are asked whether they're comfortable using email, online tools, social media, video for council work and communication. They are asked if about their availability in the evening and weekends to deal with council meetings and events. They're asked if they are willing to take part in training to help people understand the council's work and responsibilities. And I think finally, they're also asked if they've got any experience of working in a public body like a council, school or health service and what they do. I think that for members who are submitting for co-option to this council, we are not required to look at other councils that they have been on and what they have done. And actually, in my view, it would actually be ultra vires. We can't consider any information in relation to their performance of another council because we do not look at, we are not a part of that council. And any member is asked to, or any people standing for co-option are asked the same questions that makes the process fair here. So there is a co-option policy, there is a co-option panel. Any member of this council can put themselves on the co-option panel. 2 councillors did. I think it's really unfair to actually criticise the council members that were on that election, that on that co-option panel, without people being. And I think that I put a lot of value on councillors that actually did stand up and take the time out of their own day to be there for those 4 meetings. So I will stand and defend them for that process. We will go on to the co-option process. I do think that there are people that want to speak for and against for the co-option, and council members can do that. Have I answered your question?
Yes, you have. But when after the interview, are all applicants given a decision?
So they are told whether they are going to be, so not at the interview, but afterwards they are scored, and people go back to them and say, whether the panel is willing to recommend them or not. All potential councillors, whether they have the panel's recommendation or not, will be presented to the council, and it's for the council to decide whether they want to go with the recommendation of the panel or not. That answers your question. Thank you. Yeah. Okay, great. Okay, I'm going to vary the order of the items tonight. We'll go straight through to the co-options. Just want to check that I can do that, Chair.
You do that, Chair, yeah.
Sorry, Clark. So we'll go to item 8 and we'll go specifically to Queensway and Denby North vacancy first. All of the information is available to councillors in page 27 to 45 of your pack. Would any members of the, so I understand that there were 2 members that were put forward and the panel has recommended that we go forward with that. Information is in your pack. Are there any questions in relation to that anyone wants to ask the panel?
Yes.
Sorry?
Is it a speech from Councillor Cotley?
No, we're not, because
It's questions.
There's no questions to the actual members. We have changed the process. There is a co-option panel. You can ask the question. You can ask questions to the panel, but you don't get to ask questions to the co-option members. You've had the opportunity. Everybody knows what the co-option policy is. It was changed as a result of feedback that we've actually received, and we now have a co-option panel which takes place offline, and there is a recommendation. So you can ask members of the co-option panel questions, but you can't ask questions for the individuals. Right?
Yeah, question 10. I just feel that the questions are not. They might be the right questions asked all the time to different clients, candidates. But the main thing for me is question 10. Have you had experience working with or for a public body like a council, school, or health service? If so, what did you do? Now, if the person doesn't have that experience, he or she immediately scores 0. If you have served on it, you're immediately scoring 1, 2, or 3. How does the panel make a decision whether it's 1, 2, or 3? Because there is no commentary that goes with any of this. There is nothing to say when a recommendation comes forward. There is nothing to give any background information. It is just a number score. And depending on who you are and what you do, other questions are exactly the same. And there's nothing to substantiate that. And my understanding of the co-option policy was that, and I'm sure it says it in the policy, that it's a confidential written report, not an answer sheet. And I haven't seen any commentary to suggest why someone was picked or why someone was not recommended. I think that's fundamentally wrong for everybody to be judged like that and not have anything on it.
So I think that I've actually seen one of the sheets, and I think there's one bit of your comment there that I would say is slightly inaccurate. There is guidance on what meets. So I think someone would score a 0 if they displayed very little information, and they would get a 1. You know, so there is some kind of rationale that goes with scoring for each question is actually on there.
Well, I think you're right, it is on there, but 2 candidates scored perfect marks, 30 on each. How is there such a difference without commentary? How is somebody else able to score less than that?
So what I'm going to say to that is every member of this council has the right to go onto the co-option panel and can choose to do so. And so if you want those questions answered, then go to co-option panel. But actually, I think it's really unfair to be criticising council members who have gone on the co-option panel when they have given up their time in order to do that.
I just wanted to come back on his comment. They did not both get that. Yeah.
So Terry, in going back to your question, I asked the clerk whilst you were talking, whilst the other conversation's going on, to go back and check the actual policy.
Yeah.
And sorry, I've advised you incorrectly. You are entitled, so the co-optees can speak for up to 3 minutes in addition to their written application, but we do not ask questions.
All right, okay. That's right.
So if the members do want, if the people standing for co-option do want to speak, then I'm happy to do so. But I think in order for it to be fair, both of them should be here tonight if we want to do that.
No, we can read the pack, so these are specific questions.
All right, great. So in that case, I'm going to go back to the papers. Do any members have any questions for the court in relation to the first candidate? What did I say? Sorry, did you both want to speak? Yeah. What is the first application in the packet, please? So Aisha, as you are the first application in the pack, I'm going to let you speak first, and then we'll tell you. Yeah. Okay, 3 minutes.
Good evening, Chair, clerks, councillors, and the general public who are listening in today. My name is Aisha Kunal. I feel it's important to clarify a few points here. Milton Keynes City Council and Bletchley and Fenny Stratford Town Councils have very different roles. Town Council focuses entirely on Bletchley and Fenny Stratford, working closely with local residents and community organisations to improve the area we all call home. This is exactly why I want to serve as a town councillor for Queensway. I have previously served a full term as a parish councillor before being elected as a ward councillor, so I understand the distinctive responsibilities of both councils. I know how Milton Keynes City Council operates, and I also understand the important role a town council plays in supporting local people, strengthening communities and improving the places where we live. Throughout my time serving our community, my work has been about people. It's about connecting communities, building bridges, tackling poverty, reducing social isolation, promoting inclusion, supporting mental health, and creating opportunities for young people and older residents alike. I believe that by investing in people, we empower them to invest back into their community. I also run my own charity and have worked in a variety of roles dedicated to making Milton Keynes a better place. That work has included supporting people into education, developing their confidence and skills, helping them move into employment, organising regular community litter picks, and showing through practical action what community pride looks like. I have worked closely with Bletchley and Fenny Stratford Town Council to develop a better understanding of communities that are often hard to engage. One example is the annual Ramadan Iftar, which many of you all have attended. Events like these do not happen by chance. They require commitment, hard work, dedication, partnership, and teamwork. No one person achieves them alone. As one of the directors of the Equality Council UK, I also have the privilege of working with people from all backgrounds and communities. This role has strengthened my commitment to ensuring we uphold the principles of the Equality Act by supporting and representing everyone, not just focusing on one protected characteristic or on one section of our community. True inclusion means ensuring every voice is heard and every resident feels they belong. Working with the community is not just about talking, it's about taking action. It's about listening, building trust, and creating opportunities and bringing people together to make lasting change. I was born in Bletchley, as were my children and my grandchildren. Yes, my grandchildren. And I have lived in Duncan Street all my life, so I know firsthand the challenges our neighbourhood faces, including parking issues. I have raised councillors' casework matters on behalf of the residents, much of which would never appear in public council meetings or agendas, because individual casework is confidential. Not every issue needs to be raised repeatedly in public meetings. If an issue has already been formally raised, I would rather focus my time on progress and solutions than repeating the same point or taking credit for someone else's work. Collaboration achieves far more than claiming the spotlight.
Thank you. Ian, would you like to speak for 3 minutes?
Thank you. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Clerk, fellow councillors, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for giving me this opportunity to speak this evening. My name is Ian Foster. I'm 58 years old. I've run my own business in Fenny Stratford for the last 15 years, which is a garage, MOT, servicing, a one-stop shop for all your motoring needs. People often ask me the hardest thing of running a garage. It isn't fixing the cars, it's convincing people strange noises don't fix themselves. On a more serious note, running a local business and living in our community has given me the privilege of getting to know people from all walks of life. Every day I meet local residents, listen to their concerns, solve problems and build relationships on trust. Those conversations, together with my own experience as a resident of Newton Lees, are one of the reasons I've decided to stand as parish councillor. I'm standing because I genuinely care about Bletchley and Fenny Stratford and our wider community, and believe we deserve councillors who are visible, approachable, and prepared to work hard for the people they represent. Like many of you, I see the same issues every day. Parking is becoming more difficult, vehicles parked on pavement, force parents, wheelchair users and pedestrians into the road. Speeding through our residential streets is a going concern. Antisocial behaviour can leave people feeling unsafe, and we're all frustrated. For example, when bins aren't emptied on time, rubbish is left lying around, particularly where my business is in Tavistock Street, and cleanliness of our streets suffers. These may sound like everyday problems, but they're issues that affect our quality of life every single day. I won't stand here or promise to solve every problem overnight, because that wouldn't be honest. I will promise to listen, to work hard and make sure residents' concerns are heard and followed through. I believe people deserve a councillor who is accessible, accountable and prepared to stand up for their community. I spent my working life building a business on honesty, reliability and hard work in keeping my word. Those are exactly the values I will bring to the parish council. This isn't about politics for me, it's about people. It's all about making Bletchley and Fenny Stratford and our local communities cleaner and safer places. We're all proud to call our home. If we work together, I genuinely believe we can make a real difference. I can't promise to have all the answers, but I can promise this. If you put me in your trust, you'll have a councillor who listens, works hard, keeps his word, always available to people he represents. Thank you very much for listening. It will be a great privilege to serve the community, and I hope I can count on your support. Thank you.
Before we go to the vote, I just want to read out the following item. So no councillors have made any declarations of interest in this meeting. I want to read out this item. So in relation to this, councillors are bound to declare a prejudicial interest if they or a member of their family or close associates are related to or have a close relationship to an individual candidate and would need to request a dispensation in order to vote. And so if anybody is either a member of family, a close associate of either of these two people, before we go to the vote, I'm going to give the opportunity to make a declaration of interest. Okay, we will go forward straight to the vote then. So all those members who wish to vote for Aisha, please raise your hand.
Keep your hand up, please.
We record the vote, sorry.
Yes,
So sorry, we'll record this. Is it in the policy? So it's not in the policy, but I will ask members if they are happy for their vote to be recorded.
Yeah, I think that's standing orders that if a member requests a recorded vote, then that has to be recorded.
Okay,
Yeah.
we're going to a recorded vote.
Let's not do that, sorry.
Yeah, I vote only if there's a time.
Yeah.
All those members wishing to vote for Ian.
What am I missing?
We've got people voting for both people.
Yeah.
So you have to vote one or the other.
One or the other.
Now vote for one. They want to put their hands up again. Right, we do that again, sorry.
Right, we're going to start. Can I suggest that actually we're going to get all out of members' name and they say in their
That's it. There's two people. Okay, this way.
Okay, sorry, to stop the confusion, I'm going to ask the deputy clerk to call out the councillor's name and they will, and you will call out the co-opted person, the person you wish to co-opt.
Yeah. Aisha. Aisha. Ian.
Aisha.
Aisha.
Yes.
I wasn't here for the.
So you just, did you hear the co-option who you're going to vote for, either Aisha or Ian?
In the end, go at Ian's because I had a family emergency. So I'm going to abstain for the moment.
Aisha.
Aisha? Fine, okay.
So I declare that Aisha is elected as councillor. If you want to sign your declaration of this, you can take part in the meeting this evening. Thank you for coming. We'll go on to the next item. Sorry, the question?
As I remember, I was also co-opted last year. I remember. If this is a round for question among the full council of the candidates.
We've changed the process. There's a co-option policy which full council agreed to because it has to only policy can only be set by full council. Now there is a co-option panel and people are recommended all council.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay. So we'll now. Is there any other questions before we go on to the next one?
Good tonight.
Thank you for coming this evening.
No problem. Thank you very much indeed.
Okay. For Eton South and is it for Manor South and Eton North?
Eton South, Eton North, they're both late stage.
Okay. And we've got people for those. Are they all here?
No, we've only got one person here. The second candidate, email today, so it'll be Victoria.
Okay.
But the information's in the back.
Okay. So, Mohammed, which you're going for?
Eton North.
Eton North. Okay, so members, there is information in pages 47. Sorry,
How many vacancies we got?
we've got two left.
So these two here, so one in Queen Way Denbick, which has just been filled. Yes. And there's two on the lakes, Eton South and Eton North. We had two candidates who applied for it, and one has withdrawn today.
All right.
Okay. So pages 47 to 64 in your pack. Do any members have questions for the panel on this co-option? No? Okay, we will go straight to the vote, and obviously everything I said before still is the same. If anybody knows anybody or is a close associate of this of the person co-opting, they should make a declaration for the vote. Or abstain. Okay.
Councillor Kelly-Wilson, I am going to abstain this one just on the point around close associate. Our definition is very, very grey, but I think it is probably fair to say that Mohammed and I both appeared put together over the last several months in terms of leading up to the election, and therefore, for the purposes of transparency and standing on the same ticket and the same way.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Okay. I'm going to go to the vote. All those in favour, because there is only one candidate and one, so it's yes or no, I'm going to have a show of hands for this. All those in favour of co-opting Mohammed Khan, sorry.
Can I vote as well?
You can vote, yeah. All those in favour of co-opting Mohammed to the Town Council, please raise your hand.
Amy, was your hand up?
Oh, no.
Yeah, sorry, keep up there.
I'll keep that.
So we can count.
Keep that up. All those against? And any abstentions? 2 abstentions. I didn't vote. Okay, so Mohammed, you are elected to the Town Council. If you want to sign your declaration of office, you can stay and take part in the meeting tonight. Okay, we're going to go back to our agenda sorry, it's back to the minutes. So item number 5, pages 11 to 14 in your pack. We're going to take 5.1 annual meetings of electors. Everybody happy that those minutes are accurate? Yes? Thank you. Next, 5.2, pages 15 to 18 in your pack, the Community and Environment Committee. Everybody happy with those minutes? Yes? I'll take silence as fine. 5.3, the Employment Policy Committee, pages 19 to 22. Everybody happy? Silence is okay. Next one, Finance and Governance Committee, pages 23 to 26 of your pack. Anyone got any comments in relation to that? No, so I'll note that they are accepted. Thank you very much. Item number 6, planning applications due to be considered by the local planning authority to review and, if appropriate, make representations on the following planning applications. 6.1, 65 Queensway, demolition of existing first floor and erection of an additional 2 stories above ground floor for a total of 18 residential units with associated parking, community space, cycle storage and refuse. I understand that this is the Home Bargains shop, and I think this is the 3rd time that we've had this application.
Yeah.
Does anybody have any comments or that they wish to make in relation to this? Ron?
We had this once before, they put on there.
I think it's quite.
July, we had it, July.
Yeah. What are they coming again? Was it, they changed it a little bit or what?
I think they've changed it.
Yeah, was it 15 to 18?
It's 55 to 65.
No, I mean,
sorry.
how many flats? It was 15, do I remember right, 15? Can't remember.
Or, just have a look. 18.
18 before, it's 18 now.
Or some.
Sorry, someone put their hand up.
I do.
Hang on.
It's just recollect, these are 2 ladies that came to the library, yeah?
Yeah, so I think, so last July was the 2nd time. Because
yeah.
When we were at the library, we had staff from Home Bargains who came and spoke to council. Sorry, Ray.
So it looked like there was a reduction in parking spaces again. And so there's only going to, for the accommodation, there's only going to be 1 parking space per unit again, or maybe less. I couldn't actually work it all out, to be honest. But it looks like there's a reduction in parking spaces, and I think planning policy, that's like you shouldn't be doing it where there is a reduction in parking spaces.
Hang on.
Not work there as a kid, I seem to remember that all these are inside the tin gate, so the parking spaces are actually inside the building now. So they wouldn't. They won't get spots. That's all right. It's really important for that.
Okay, does anyone wish to make a proposal? Fish.
So just a comment. Yeah, it came through last year, and I mean, there's not really much change. I mean, there's comments from MKCC for the highways, safety problem in regards to the entry and the exit from the gates.
Yeah.
There's an issue with footwear going onto Oxford Street and the doors opening out onto the High Street as well. So, I mean, it would be nice to see that building look nice. So, I mean, I think, just discouraging it it's not in everybody's best interest, because I mean, it is a big shop on the high street, as well as the flats above. But, you know, there's obviously concerns from highways, and our previous concerns haven't really been met in terms of the size of the actual individual units as well. So that's what it is.
So does anyone want to make a proposal?
Do we go with that?
I think we went against it.
We did.
We object to those.
We did a bit.
What was our previous objection?
Object to the town council shares concerns expressed by the City Council Highways Officer about the exits of the site and problems surrounding vehicle and pedestrian access. The town council believes the proposed development does not demonstrate well designed or good quality living accommodation. The individual one-bed flats are extremely small, likely to be dark, and communal amenity areas are so inadequate.
Can I propose that we
Parking as well.
propose that we share the same concerns?
Is that seconded? So I think that is seconded. All those in favour of objecting on similar terms to last time, parking, access to lights, what was the other items? Highways.
Yeah, highways, yeah.
All those in favour? Those against? Abstentions? Okay, number 7. It's for full council to know that Councillor Dorwell has resigned from Eton Southmore. Is there anything you want to say about that?
No, this was a while ago, but this is the first opportunity I've had to report it to full council.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is item 9, financial management information report showing income and expenditure against budget up to the 30th of June, pages 65 to 66. Anyone got any comments or questions in relation to that? No, we are happy to note the reports, yeah?
Yeah.
Thank you. Next item, item 10, a list of payments made or due to be made by the 31st of July. To review and ratify a list of payments made or due to be made by the town prior to the next meeting of Finance and Governance Committee. This is pages 67 to 72. Any members got any questions about any of the payments? No? Members happy to ratify those payments? Yes? All agreed. Thank you. Item number 11, approval of recommendation from the Finance and Governance Committee in relation to item number FC 26/27-13. It's Sycamore Hall engagement budget, pages 73 to 74. To approve the recommendation from Finance and Governance Committee to transfer 18.5k from general reserves. This was discussed at the Finance and Governance Committee recently, and a recommendation from them. Do any members have any questions in relation to that? No. So all those in favour of the recommendation from Finance and Governance Committee? Any members against? Any abstentions? I think that is unanimous. Thank you. Next item on the agenda, item 12, approval of recommendation from Finance and Governance Committee, FC 26/27-15, the branding project, to approve the recommendation from Finance and Governance Committee to transfer £6,500 from general reserve to fund the agreed town council branding. Does any member have any comments or questions in relation to this item? Okay. We will go to the vote. All those in favour of the recommendation to transfer 6.5 million reserves to the town council branding project. Please raise your hand. Anybody against? And any abstentions? So that's the abstentions.
Yes.
Next item on the agenda is item 13, Sycamore Hall progress update. Is there somebody who wants to talk to this?
I can give an update. So the project continues, progress is going well. We're on track to finish on the 24th of August as originally planned. I won't go through all the bits and pieces there, but you can see the level of work that's been going on so far as we're going through this final stage. I do want to bring people's attention to the phase 2, the car parking options. So you can see that in the report. We did have a pre-application in. We've had news today that to carry on with the pre-application, there is a fee. We've been waiting quite a few weeks for this, but there's a fee of £2,725 for us to go ahead with the pre-application. So this is a lot higher than we expected, and Milton Keynes City Council does not discount this for local authorities like other places do. So in light of this fee now quoted, the Town Council may or may not wish to reconsider its decision and proceed straight to a full planning application. So we can, either the pre-application can be withdrawn and a full application prepared for approval by council before final submission. Alternatively, the pre-application can continue on the basis that the original reasons for seeking advice still stand. So it's up to members to decide if you want us to go for full application for the car park.
Can I say, the pre-application, often have Milton Keynes Council give us.
So the reasons for the to get the pre-app advice is to draw out potential objections to the development in principle, e.g. anticipated access, conservation issues, and to avoid unnecessary conflict with Town Council by either under or over providing additional information before a full application is necessary. So they're the reasons why we would go for application.
I think we should still go ahead with the pre-application just in case of all the above before we go to a full application and get rejected.
I think I'll just sit there and say that the full application is actually cheaper.
Yes.
Yes. Because there's a statutory limit on an application. They have to come and respond to it within a certain time. They've not responded to us on the pre-application at all. So I would sit there and say, yes, actually, we should put it through the application. I agree with the full application. And because it is discounted for us, and they're likely to talk to us quicker. And even if they turn us down, there can be some engagement, and we can actually revise our plans. So I actually just think that would be my proposal. So are you happy to take it? Okay, so I will propose that we go with the full application. Just one second up. Okay, all those in favour of that? Any abstentions? Anyone against? Okay, I think that was unanimous. And also, members happy to note the remainder of the report, yes? Yeah. Thank you. Are there any recommendations on that?
No, it was just a noting, but that was the pre-app we needed to just get decided. 13.2, pages 97 to 98. We want to note and ratify the award of the furniture contract made under delegated. Yeah, can I just understand, we need to get 13.1, which is the Sycamore Community Engagement Report.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, if we could just go to 13.1, which is pages 81 to 96. Deputy Clerk, taking us through this?
Yes.
So in light of the 18,500 Sycamore engagement budget, obviously we have put together some initial prospective ideas and plans. The first being the opening events for Sycamore Hall, one being a stakeholder event for community organisations, charities, local businesses, resident associations and service providers and any other key community stakeholders. And the second would be a public event open to all with food, children's craft, face painting and entertainment. There should be within the pack a proposal that's been shared on the event, and the projected cost is around 4,500. The second project that we are looking at is Citizens Advice Bureau. They have been in Bletchley before, but haven't been for a number of years. This shows that there is a significant number of residents that are accessing the service, and the service is very difficult. In addition to this, in collaboration with Citizens Advice Bureau, Work for Us has obtained funding for Bletchley, so they've actually worked collaboratively, and so you're actually getting a better offer within that proposal. And then an older person's Christmas lunch budget approximately £2,000, funding to combat social isolation and loneliness. This would be a seated Christmas meal specifically for older residents, and budget was £2,000. There are other projects that were also that have inquired about using the space. So there's an Alzheimer's Day Centre, Sunday bingo, school nursing team workshops, and coffee mornings. We're also in discussion with the network about proposal to move to Sycamore Hall, but none of these have any cost implications, so not related to the budget.
Any questions from members for Deputy Clerk? Terry.
Significant numbers, what does that mean? Was there a ballpark figure?
Yeah, I think for system lines.
Yeah.
I think it's about 600. I think we're in the top 10% of the kids from the firm.
Wow, thank you.
Yeah.
Just a correct note, it does say 18,000 in this, but for finance, you have mentioned it's 18 and a half. Is it 18 or is it 18 and a half?
I took the RFI rate before, so
I thought it was 18, but that's.
I think it was 18. Thinking about when 18.5. I think there was a small error in the report. RFI, I just need to.
Okay.
What we probably need to do is just change it to it is 18 minutes and just check. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
The minutes have been checked and it is 18,000.
I'll make sure that reflects in the.
Within this report, there's still budget space. It's fine for the proposals in this report.
The date's been set for the grand opening. Because I noticed on the invites, it's got September.
Yes.
And the date it's got Thursday, September, which.
BBC.
All right, okay, right.
Imminent though.
All right, okay. Thank you. I thought that was the case.
I think it was towards the end.
Yeah.
Rather than towards the beginning.
Right.
People.
I just worried they might have gone out.
Yeah.
And I'm also very conscious that with the building handover day could be kind of quite late in August, and so we probably need time to get. Okay. Next item on the agenda is the furniture code procurement rectification changes.
Sorry, can we just start to approve for the recommendation for
System advice.
Sorry, we haven't taken all of that. Sorry. So for systems advice, the budget is 8,234. All those in favour of spending, that's out of the 18k that we've set aside for opening. All those in favour? Anybody against? Any abstentions? I think that is carried unanimously. And then the older person's Christmas lunch is approximately £2,000. That is also part of the £18,000 there. All those in favour of that? Sorry, have you got a question?
What's the age range of the older person's Christmas lunch?
Well, actually, according to
Received people some pressures.
actually 55 and
Snuck in. You read to anybody.
Sorry, going to the vote.
That's from the friend, sorry.
Going to the vote. All those in favour? Anybody against? Any abstentions? Okay, there's one. Okay. Right, so that is now dead. And now we are actually going to the furniture procurement rectification. There is information, pages 97 to 98 in your pack. Any comments or questions in relation to the furniture that the clerk can answer? No?
To just add, we've awarded IOTA the contract. We had two applicants go for it, and you can see the scoring in there. And IOTA came out on top, and the order's been placed.
It's comfortable.
They're super comfortable.
Okay. I do believe those members who actually sit at Milton Keynes City Council will find the seats find they very similar seats in our. Okay. Next. So sorry, we need to ratify that. Do I have to do a vote?
Yeah.
All those in favour? Anybody against? Any abstentions? That is done. Next item, item 14, Community Infrastructure Fund Project. to review and approve projects for inclusion in the community infrastructure funding applications in Nottingham City Council. That's pages 99 to 102 in your pack. Any person got any comments to say about this?
So this was discussed at the last meeting of community environment. They were discussing potential projects for the application, which closes end of August. So the environment landscape manager needs to put this in. So he has listed 3 different options there. You can see first one being additional poles for use for the SIDs, the speed indicator devices. There's a quote, the price of that would be 6,400 at 4 locations, because I believe there has been at Drayton Road, Manor Road, Water Eaton Road and Bridge Road been places where residents have kind of suggested they would like these to be placed. They have to go on specific poles, they can't go on the lamp posts, so that's what it costs to put these posts in. We've got some already, but only in 2 locations. So that was one project. The other one that was mentioned was information boards at the Blue Lagoon. We've done something similar with boards in other areas. So the SIF funding for that would be 13,200. Final one was discussed last month for solar panels at Sycamore Hall. So with the SIF funding, you get up to 40,000. So 20,000 from us, 20,000 from Milton Keynes. This won't cover the whole area for panels for the building. However, it would do a good section for it, and we can add to it at a later date. So we also put a bit more information in there about each one as well. That is a larger sum of money, so that does take up the overall chunk of what's available for the SIP funding in the area, which is £100,000, I believe. So recommendations are to decide which projects to apply for, whether it's the additional poles, the information boards, or the solar panels. We can do all of them. We can put them all in, prioritise one by one, but you need to, so we'll prepare the application. Thanks.
I just wanted to just say, I think these are some good additions to the application. I think particularly the SIDs, we know that we've all had people mention to us about speeding in the town. Whatever happens, you can do whatever measures you can do in terms of improving signage or those stuff, but drivers will sometimes still drive over the speed limit, and anything that helps people become more aware of their speed and potentially will help with some data capture would be helpful. So having more options for the areas that you go into, particularly some of these more free roads, but they're also with residential streets would be welcome. So I think that's a really great idea for it. And I also think actually the stuff around the Blue Lagoon, I think it's I think it shows that we've got an interest as a town council in the Blue Lagoon. We've seen over the last few years, I know Terry has been at the forefront in terms of some of the discussions and working with the city council on things in the Blue Lagoon, but we've seen so many improvements in the Blue Lagoon over the last
and the signs are so tired down there. It's been there for years. Good refresh.
I think that just shows that commitment and to that space and recognises the work that's already happened there. So I think that would be, and it's a really great space, and we want it to be more attractive and more and used more properly. That doesn't make sense, but
Can I propose that we look at all 3 recommendations and do them one by one, discuss? We can look at all of them, can't we?
Yeah, we can put all of them in. Yeah, just have to set a priority.
Okay.
Yeah, which one would you want to go first? Just worth noting with the solar panels, the environment manager has put in there that other funding avenues that could be explored for solar at Sycamore Hall, such as savings finance, public sector decarbonisation scheme for lottery funding. So
it's actually me that put this one on, and the reason I did so is actually we got turned down for the ones on this building, but then because you have to pay half of the project yourself, what actually happened is other councils got told that they got funding and they didn't want to actually proceed or couldn't proceed in the timescale. And I'm just making an educated guess that might happen again. And actually, if it does, then we can get 50% of the or up to 50% of the panels done. So that's why I put it there. But it's for members to decide what we do. Ed.
I think given that, I think we said about the priority order, and I think that's really important. I would put that on the screen, not because I don't necessarily think it's really important, but because of what you've just said.
Yeah.
In terms of actually, I think if we put the first two there to talk to, I see the way action, which ways they go. They're both really important, and I can argue both ways why one should be number one, the other one should be number one as well. But I do think probably the solar panel should be number three, just purely because of this is more of us going more speculative element of the Monday to see whether we may get a chance to get to that, because it is so large, and it's a large chunk of funding from City Council. It would be quite a big expenditure. Would probably feature lower.
Does anybody have any thoughts around which one, if we go with that solar panels would be priority 3, which way round they would go? Is it kind of speed or blue lagoon?
With the solar panels though, if we put them first, and it doesn't get awarded, when they then look at 2 and 3, right?
Potentially, yeah.
So in terms of value to us, right, I'd put poles below the Blue Lagoon at £1,600 for both sides of the road. It's cheaper for us to fund that ourselves and get the second one awarded, or the solar panels awarded in reality.
Need a proposal.
Solar panels, Blue Lagoon, since proposal.
Your proposal. Is it seconded? All those in favour of the proposal. Sorry, did you want to?
No, I was going to.
All those in favour of the proposal. Anyone against? Any abstentions? Okay, I think that's unanimous. Okay, next on to item 15, double yellow line informal consultation request. To approve the informal consultation process seeking views from residents of Bristol Close on the introduction of double yellow lines to improve parking issues in this location. Information pages 103 to 104 in your pack. Is there anything you want to speak to?
No, you can see it in the report itself. So we've had residents of Bristol Close make contact requesting part of the process is they have to contact us to start the informal consultation. I believe the environment premises may have put into photos of where, so this is behind the Checkers pub. I don't know if people know it's now open. I think there's some issues, parking issues there. There is a picture in there at the moment. So it's just to, if you want officers to start the informal consultation process with residents of Bristol Close. If the consultation proves that a majority of residents are in favour of the introduction of the double yellow lines to apply to MKC for the TR road to be action.
Any comments or questions in relation to this? Right.
It's the same thing again. Milton Keynes Council will not enforce double yellow lines. They don't enforce double yellow lines. Part of the thing was, is we should be asking them, can you do it? We shouldn't spend any money on getting a survey done to just substantiate what we know is that they won't and can't enforce double yellow lines. If we don't get a commitment from Milton Keynes Council that they will enforce it, then we shouldn't be putting it forward. If they come back and say, yes, when the lights are in, we will enforce it, then of course we can spend the money on it. Once they say they're going to enforce it, but we all know they won't.
I disagree with the statement the councillor has just made that Milton Keynes Council does not enforce the yellow lines. It does, and it may not be to the level of enforcement that we would like to see all the time, but it certainly does. And I've seen double yellow line enforcement happen where we have requested double yellow lines, and we have done a consultation before Millwood Drive. There has been enforcement there. It could be more, it could be, but enforcement does happen. And so I would just disagree with that statement. And I think it's important as councillors that actually what we say is accurate, and actually to just make a carte blanche statement that something does not happen when it does. It may not be the levels that you would like, but it does. I would also just say, actually, even if enforcement is not at the level we would necessarily like, if I saw double yellow lines, I would actually not park there. Whether there's enforcement, it's still not parked there. And I think most people will behave in that way. So even if the enforcement is not necessarily always there, the potential of having double yellow lines actually will improve the situation most of the time, apart from those who do just ignore highway code. So I think it will have a benefit. But actually, I think it's important we ask the residents of Bristow Place using the policy that's in place around private up yellow lines, and that should be the case.
Because it's a debate, I'm not coming back to anything. Mo, did you put your hand up?
I did. Thank you, Chair. I'm disagree with what Roy said. Bletchley had a fair amount of ticket than any other area in Milton Keynes. Last year, more than 2,500 ticket issued on double yellow line, Queensway, Lancaster Street, and Osborne Street. That's 1 year, 2,500, over 2,500 tickets. That's more than the most of other towns in King. It does have enforcement with the City Council, but I'm not saying, they're doing every day enforcing all double yellow line. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying that if you're talking about enforcement there, either the City Council or perhaps you can ask the enforcement team over there yourself instead of asking here.
Yeah, just regarding I'll lighten up on the environmental considerations. I do hope we meet carbon neutrality by 20,230. If you look in the thing, it says 20,230. So.
Right. So one question I wanted to make comment first. We obviously need the evidence base to be able to put forward an argument, a formal evidence base, rather than one email, 2 emails, a formal consultation process, basically, or an informal consultation process that's recorded, and it's it can be gathered together and submitted as evidence. The question I had was the process that's in the pack. Is this the general process for going forward with? Okay, so if it's the general process, then we do need an evidence base. Otherwise we're just submitting, our opinion, really.
I also just want to come back to the point that I know I've actually, so my husband got a ticket outside Ganges Lounge on a couple of Wednesdays ago, and Ganges Lounge told me, or actually asked, is there anything that can be done, because it's actually affecting their trade, because businesses are parking in the car parks on Denmark and George Street, where there's loads of like, vehicles that were repairing there. So their customers are parking on the road, and they have said that the parking enforcement, civil enforcement officers have said they're coming back every single evening. So it may well be that there has been a recent change, but it is actually been enforced. And it's actually, I think several restaurants are complaining about it. Wrong.
Yeah, it's not being enforced. The enforcement is inconsistent. Now, yesterday I was in Brooklands Road twice in a day, great, giving out tickets. And then you might not see them for a week. Or then they might come again for once in a day, then you won't see them for a fortnight, 3 weeks. It's inconsistency. That is why people take the chance. They think, we might as well park here, we get a ticket. And that's how it is, and that's the attitude of the drivers. I often tell them in Brooklands Road, it's residents only. I'm only going to be 5 minutes. Obviously, it takes them 5 minutes to write out a ticket. Some driver says, "Oh, well, if I get a ticket." But it's inconsistency. That's where the problem is with the enforcement.
So can I be back to this? This council supports residents of Bristow Close in starting the consultation process.
Is there a second? Second, all those to the vote, please. All those in favour?
Can we have a recorded vote, please?
Okay, we'll go to a recorded vote. Let's start. Can we catch you out? You have to cut and call out.
Yeah, go ahead. Councillor Blackburn, do you want to start?
Against.
Four.
That is the carry by majority. Thank you. Okay, next item on the agenda is the Christmas. Sorry.
I have a question, because I don't know the meaning of informal consultation. Is there any formal consultation? What is the difference between
So this has actually come to council, and I would ask councillors to actually make sure they know what council policies are and read the minutes when they actually come out, because last year members were told that informal town or parish council has to do an informal consultation process before highways will do a consultation on a traffic order. So we have to do that consultation first before Milton Keynes Council will actually take it to a TRO. And I think as you're right, Councillor Blackman, we are paying for the costs of kind of doing the consultation. But you know, as is being said, it's because we are closer to the residents. Okay, then we're now going to go on to item 16, which is the Christmas lights contract. We want to ratify the Christmas lighting contract for the next 4 years following the tendering process. It's pages 105 to 108 in your pack. Was anything to talk here?
There is a couple of bits that's been added in. Just bear with me. So to ratify the award of the Christmas lighting contract. So Bletchley submission won the contract, and you can see the details in there and some pictures of what is going to be supplied and what it's going to look like. I believe councillors Stevens and Weimer on the scoring panel.
We did.
Environment and premise landscape manager. So you can see in there what's been selected. There are a couple of options that came out of this scoring session that are including in the report itself. So one of them is to quote requested to add the icicle lights to Sycamore House. So you can see that's option 2. It'd be an additional cost, that one, for 1,240 per year. I'll go through each one and then we can talk about them as well. So there was a change when we did the tender document. There were some columns missing from Elizabeth Square, I believe. So these are now need to be added in to the quote itself. So that's an addition. So that'll be extra money added to the contract itself there. And also, I believe there's one more. So there's additional costs added to the budget itself. So if you look at the financial information there, it takes us up to, it leaves us with a very little contingency of about £78, which means there isn't money to, if columns go wrong, they need repairs. So that's why we have a budget, a little bit budget extra to get these fixed. So if we take those additional things on, it means there's less contingency for that, and we will go over budget if we have to fix things. The option is, as you can see in there, to consider the option of removing Victoria Road. So columns from Victoria Road, we don't have any Christmas decorations on. They go down into Elizabeth Square instead. That will leave us with enough budget to kind of repair anything we need to, because it's inevitable that stuff will go wrong. So it's first of all to ratify the lighting contract Bletchley, to decide whether to add the Sycamore House icicles on the house itself for £1,240, to approve the addition of 6 extra columns for Elizabeth Square, an extra cost of £1,500, and to consider the option of removing Victoria Road to allow that extra budget for repairs. Is that clear? Yeah, that makes sense. It's quite a lot there to understand, so there's lots to pick up. This is the environment measures report.
Any comments from members?
No.
I don't know how I feel about Victoria Road.
That's what we usually say. We know that, just to make.
Oh,
That's not been told us, yeah.
We didn't know that at all.
Well, that doesn't have to happen. It's just an option if you want to save money. It's moving them up there.
We've got
sorry, our town post is anyway now than we hit last week. So.
I mean, lamp should be repaired, particularly if the driver's seats were captured, because that would City Council would get the insurance money from that. So I think the Victoria Road, I think actually it's quite nice to driving down there to see those lights coming in off the Waterman Street if you're driving them down that way. I think in terms of just I don't know what we've set out contingency for unknown infrastructure repairs. Well, I believe we can probably deal with that if that happens through reserves we need to. We put together a number of reserves this year and last year because of savings. So I think it's quite likely to do that. I think if we take nothing to a road, I think it would just make it look dull. It might space up for Christmas, and I think it's one thing to remove them.
Okay, is that a proposal? Is there a proposal? So does anyone else want to come in?
I would propose that we go with the recommendations with the exception of the last recommendation about removing the lights from Victoria Road.
I'll second it.
Okay, all those in favour of the recommendation? Anybody against? Any abstentions? I think that's unanimous. Thank you. Next item is item 17. Do we need to go into confidential?
We're not.
Okay, I am going to vary the order of the agenda. We will now go to item 18, neighbourhood plan updates, to receive a verbal update from the chair of neighbourhood plan steering committee. Ish.
Thank you very much, Mayor. So, dear councillors, I'm pleased to update you on our neighbourhood plan progress. Our consultation began last week with a soft launch on Wednesday on Queensway. It was a great success with a sunny day and a strong turnout, including myself, Councillor Richards, Councillor Terry Stevens, and residents Mags and Tony. On Saturday, we held another consultation near the Social Club, Queensway, during the Sun Barbecue event. Feedback so far shows that many residents were initially unaware of what the neighbourhood plan is, but once they were told that it's a once-in-a-generation opportunity to shape how planning and development will protect, enhance and preserve the area, they became extremely motivated to have their say. As a reminder, the full council has already approved and recommended that this plan go out to the consultation stage. This means that you have a duty to support it. Since you voted for it, the full council, you must now visibly champion it. If we fail to engage and show our support, we risk undermining our reputation and all the work that's gone into this. Now, this is where the importance lies. By actively supporting this plan, you demonstrate your leadership in the community. You must be visible, attend events, speak at gatherings, use local networks so the public and stakeholders see you fully stand behind it. Now, as a summary, I ask all councillors to take 3 key actions. First, complete the survey yourself. Second, actively promote the survey and encourage everyone you know to fill it out. And third, attend consultation events and promote them widely, as well as speaking at them. By following these 3 steps, we'll ensure this plan reaches all parts of the community. If you need more info or want to discuss further, I'm available after the meeting. And our next event is on Fenny, Stratford High Street, 2 to 4 p.m. We'll also be at Big Street Eat, Canal Festival, and Saplings Children's Centre. I will be issuing a full schedule for the next 8 weeks in due course.
Thank you. Any questions or comments?
One final thing. There's the QR code to the survey as well. There is a dedicated Bletchley and Fenny Stratford neighbourhood plan website as well.
Can I congratulate you on all the work that you've done to get this over the line and also the committee? So well done.
Second that. Amazing.
Next item on the agenda is item 19, civility, respect and constructive debate. I wanted to add something on in relation to this. I have had over recent weeks comments from members of the public, from councillors, from officers about items which come down to civility and respect. I think that I've had contact from members of the public who say that they contacted councillors on their emails and they've had no response at all. I have had comments that that people aren't treated in the way that they feel they should be. I think that the officer team are really here to support any councillor who needs support in dealing with a resident. And there really should be no reason why people don't respond to contact from them to the public. So I think that is really important that we all do that. I think that also with each other and councillors, you know, this is supposed to be a place where robust debate can take place, but I think we have to do so whilst having respect for each other, and healthy discussion and different opinions are essential part of local democracy, but we should also always do that in a professional, courteous and respectful manner. And I would ask all members to be reminded of their responsibilities under the code of conduct that we have, and also the civility and respect pledge that we have made. And so I encourage you to kind of uphold those principles of civility, respect, integrity in all council business. Do any members wish to make any comment or any contribution in relation to that? Okay, thank you very much. So there is one final item on the agenda, which is in relation to a service that we're being asked to consider to provide. Because it is in relation to a commercial contract, then I am going to propose that in accordance with the provisions of section 1 of the Public Bodies Admission to Meetings Act 1960, that members of the public, including the press, be excluded from the meeting by reason of the confidential nature of the business to be transacted. This is because it may be prejudicial to the public interest to discuss this item in public because it concerns commercially sensitive information. Do I have a second? Okay, all those in favour of the resolution? Anybody against? Any abstentions? Okay, thank you very much for joining the meeting tonight. But for members of the public and for those online, that brings the meeting to a close for tonight. The next meeting of council is our Community Environment Committee on the 4th of August and the Finance and Governance Committee on the 18th of August. Next full council will be on the 1st of September. Thank you very much for joining us this evening. Good night.